What's up, everybody? Welcome to another variable review. I am Matt McGregor, the hero of time management. To my right, Zach Lamott, aka Dr. Luigi. War never changes. And today, we're talking about war between a bunch of cartoon characters. So
That's right, yeah.
We're talking about Super Smash Brothers for the Wii U.
Smash Bros.
Smash Bros for the layman person.
So I'm coming into this as a pretty common user. We explored the game today, but I don't own a Wii U. I've played maybe collectively 2 hours of it. I've played the game since Nintendo 64. I played a lot of Melee. I played a lot of Brawl. So I kind of I know what I'm doing in this business of Smash Bros.
I feel
but yeah, not too many hours into this one.
Right, and I've put a solid, I'd say 15 to 20 since it came out. And then we had a few battles over the last few weeks, and then tonight we really hammered on like the different type of game modes, and that's what we're kind of going to be reviewing. And I'm really curious to see or to hear how you felt about those last few hours with the game. First from like a gameplay standpoint, and then maybe from a few of the modes that we played tonight. So
Right.
Zach?
Yeah, off the top, as we sort of touched on, I felt like the game sort of went in a, I don't know,
Off the rails
in a way, like just a little bit over the top. I mean, there's a lot of very stimulating elements that I feel were unnecessary, but I'm sure there are many settings that you could adjust to kind of crank those down a touch to kind of make it feel a little bit more classic. This is also coming from somebody who's played, the other ones. I just found like as like a primary example, I feel is like the items. They've got, a solid 50% of the items so far are just like one hit kill, you're done, one of your lives are gone.
You hated that little ship that takes you...
The Galaga ship?
The Galaga ship.
Oh, man, every time I get so mad. But, I mean, again, these things can be turned off in the settings, so it's nothing I could complain about. And like Matt made a good point earlier saying that these are things that were added. You don't need to use them, but they exist for the people that want them. And I could see, on the plus side for people who are pretty new to the game, are trying to get a handle on the controls, dodging, stuff like that. Well, they could hunt for these items and actually do some damage, right? So on the plus side for, like, if you're playing and you've played since Melee and you're really good at playing the game and you're playing a new person, they've kind of got a shot, due to randomization of items to, getting some kills on the board.
What about the levels? I know we were talking a little earlier in relation to a lot of the levels are pretty busy.
Yes.
There seems to be a lot of change. Like you do have like your classic, like your Battlefield and your Final Destination that allow you to play like on a flat plane that it's more like turn off the items, Final Destination, and it's more like when you're like almost like more of like a fighting game at that point, right? But the levels seem to be you're on a ship and then it flips over and then now you're on the R-Wing and then the R-Wing takes you off and then you fall into orbit onto an asteroid, which doesn't happen, but then that flips and that turns into a monster and the monster comes out and the monster eventually kills everybody.
Yeah.
So like a lot of the levels are like that, whether it be like Ridley from Metroid or that weird blob monster from Mega Man is pretty prevalent in a lot of those, or not a lot of levels, but in their respective levels, and it makes things a little difficult sometimes.
Absolutely. And in the older ones, they would have, I felt like it was a pretty good balance. There's maybe about 20% of the levels were very busy for the people that were, they played the shit out of the other ones, and getting bored and understimulated. Well, boom, you got the fucking Metroid levels that keep spinning, and all these different things happening that you can do. I just found in this one, and again, maybe this is something you could turn off in the settings, but I found like most of them were extremely busy, and then you've got the odd couple that, were a little bit more, okay, now you're fighting each other, and that's your main threat, is the opponents.
Let's get to the meat of it. The main reason you didn't like this Smash Brothers as much as I say myself is probably because I was winning, let's say 90 to 90
because I suck
9% of the game.
Absolutely. Most games that I hate is because I suck at it.
Perfect. Okay, now we got that out of the way. I just wanted that on record. we're gonna kind of move on to like the modes. So we had like the Smash Tour, which is kind of like the strange board game,
right?
And then they have like the classic, kind of like say like the All Star, as well as like the classic where you eventually fight the crazy hands,
right?
I liked like the like event mode that we had played, where it gives you a scenario to like make sure that Mr. Game & Watch doesn't land on the platforms or whatever. Like that was pretty cool, but the board game thing was a big miss for me. I didn't know what was going on a lot, and I'm sure like that gets a little better and a little more clear like the more and more you play it.
Right.
But it just wasn't. It didn't convey any sort of positive. The first impression was very poor for me. I felt it was you only get so much time with each game. Like we have to we want to like move on because there's a lot of different things coming out, and a lot of things have to like catch me right away if I want to go back to those modes, and this one didn't. It was like you have a certain character you can play as, then you lose him to the computer, then all of a sudden you stole him from the computer, and then all of a sudden my stats have gotten boosted, and then I have an Animal Crossing character that's stealing different shit from me, and then now stealing from you, and it was just very, very like all over the place. So that wasn't my favorite mode by far.
Right. Yeah, well, they tried to make like a little board game thing out of it. For those of you who haven't
Party-esque.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of had a Mario Party thing. You pick up board, and then you've got a little character, and you're moving across the board and doing things. Now, what was great about Mario Party and why they had that down is that you start in a game mode, whether it's classic or whatever, and it tutorials your ass into it. So as you're going along, it says, here's what's going on and why, and here's why you're making these decisions. The first thing we did when we went in, we selected something that was like how to play or whatever, and there were like 7 or 8 subcategories that you had to like, and like if you I could imagine when you're playing the party mode, you most likely have like a bunch of people over and you're like having drinks or whatever, and you want to just like rock and roll into some kind of party mode. Like I can't imagine too many people that own the game are like rocking that solo, right?
Right.
So if you start off something like a party mode with like an instruction manual that you have to sift through before you could even start to grasp the concept of it, I just feel like that's a big miss for me too. It wasn't something I enjoyed at all.
Well, let's jump into like say like the gameplay portion of the game. Like, so we kind of talked about a few of the additional features where like I feel a lot of those are they're giving you a lot of different ways to play, right? A lot of these I think are experiments for people that have played Melee and Brawl, right? So like they're giving you a different way to try and play the game, which is I do like the attempt, but some of it's like hit or miss with me.
Right.
But I can't argue with like the gameplay. I think the gameplay is like rock solid.
Absolutely,
right? Like when we're doing Link versus Link or Link versus Martha or something, like kind of like the classic thing we would do, it was very much about falling into old form, right? Where all of a sudden like we were like doing our rolls back and forth and no one's hitting each other, and I was like, this is
stupid.
This is
that rules. Like again, and it should come down to the fundamentals. Like when you're playing and it's like down to 2 people, that's exact and like they absolutely nailed that. And again, like I was just really happy to play this game in HD graphics, right? Like it's the first release for the Smash Bros game that was in HD, and that was great. Obviously more polished gameplay. Graphics are super pretty, like everything about that was top notch and exactly what I would expect. Again, there were very few things that really took me out of that, but at the end of the day, it's an updated Smash Bros, and I'm always on board for that. I still enjoyed playing it, and I mean, getting back to the game modes, I enjoyed like I was super happy doing the little co-op, and they do the classic like from the Nintendo 64 version.
Fight Giant Donkey Kong.
Exactly.
Now fight Model Mario.
Yeah.
Now Crazy Hand.
Crazy Hand. And
plural.
You met Jazz Hand. We got Crazy Hand. And it's cool. I think this was the first one that had the co-op like classic mode.
I think so. Yeah, I do kind of miss
cool.
I kind of miss the like the subspace from like Brawl a little bit with the adventure mode or whatever.
We were talking about that.
Yeah, but like I said, it's at the end of the day, it is like you said, the fundamentals of like the gameplay, right? And gameplay is king. And I had a really, really positive experience with it again. So far with playing a few people. Like, what about the 8-player Smash? If we're talking about game modes, I know when we were talking about it, you were also a little down on that mode as well, right?
Right. Well, not necessarily. Actually, we had played a 4-player in a level that was overstimulating, and I couldn't imagine that with 8 people. Actually, namely, it was a large level, so I was like, here we go. Now we got some space. You know, we could do some sub battles, or if there's 3 people, and you know, whatever, and that'll be cool. But then it ended up having like lava roofs.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, it's just like too much going on for such a big space, and I felt like, man, if there were 8 players in this would be mayhem, and it was already mayhem. So it's something that I haven't tried, the 8-player Smash. It might be really cool, and again, like, I'm glad that this game offers the 8-player Smash, because I'm sure a lot of people have had like really funny and great experiences with it. I haven't tried it, but it sounds like it could be really cool. Or it's
mayhem. We had 8 people at the house a few weeks ago, and we tried it out, and like, chaos is the right word for that. The lava roof took everybody.
Oh
out.
Yeah, I can imagine. The lava roof.
So,
oh my God.
The last thing I kind of want to touch upon for Smash Brothers is the functionality with Amiibo. We have a few of them demonstrated here in front of us.
Matt's little toys. Grown ass man.
We discussed this, and I thought you were going to mention that.
You should see the rest of his collection. He brought the best of, or the most, like, you know, what would...
I thought those would look great on camera.
Yeah, it's fucked up, man.
So... Okay, I'm gonna.
On that note,
let's dial that back a bit. Let's bring that back. We're gonna look at them. Don't touch them.
They're magnets.
Don't touch them. So.
No, this
aside,
is
they're
cool.
collectibles. They're not toys, okay? And they have functionality associated with them.
Absolutely,
that's what we're kind of looking at.
It's a very cool concept. I would have killed for this when I was a kid.
I'm gonna murder you after we stop recording. So the functionality is that you have an Amiibo, which is these collectibles here, and you place it on the Wii U gamepad, and it sucks it into the game, so that you're either battling alongside as a co-op partner, or you can battle them, and then you're basically training them. So they learn how you play, and then they play like you would. So if you're using items a lot, they're going to use items. If you use smash attacks a lot, they're going to use smash attacks. So I thought that was really, really interesting. I I just like the figurines in general as a collector, but I do like the Amiibo integration into the game. I thought that was something that was very, very cool. It was something unique that I haven't seen before. Something that didn't jump on the Skylanders or like the Disney Infinity collectibles.
Right. And and it makes me wonder like what else they can do with that kind of like
it makes me wonder why so many men
why so many grown ass men buy these damn toys. No, it's cool. And like I was telling Matt, like if I was a kid and if it was something like, I don't know if anyone's played Dragon Warrior Monsters or anything like that, like we brought, when we were kids, we brought our Game Boys to school with the stupid link cables, and we'd like trade monsters and breed them and all this shit, and that was really cool. I could imagine if you were, you know,
and breed them.
You know, if you went to your buddy's house and you had, you know, the dragon and whatever monster you made up earlier.
The lava yak.
The lava yak, which is a big fluffy animal. But yeah, so I mean, a really cool idea, and I was blown away when like Matt was putting it on his little controller, and then it would read the data. He would play with it for a long time. And then, like, you don't need to have it on it. You let it sit there, and then when you're done, you put it back on, and it sucks the data out.
That's correct. That's tech talk for Zach Lamott. So
yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Agreed. Like I said, on the whole, I really, really like the package of Smash Brothers for Wii U. I think it's there's a lot to do. There are, like I said, there are some flaws that I'm not super crazy about in terms of, yes, I think it can be a little busy, especially with but that's stuff that they actually give you the option to turn off, right? So if you're not crazy about items gone. If you're not crazy about playing the Mega Man level, don't play the Mega Man level. Like stick to the boxing ring or whatever you want to do. So,
and I'm sure you could turn off the environmental damage too. Like we didn't even check. We wanted the most organic experience, and that's what we got. So
exactly. So if we're looking at a scale of 1 to 10, how are you looking at Smash Brothers today?
I'm gonna give it an 8.
All right, that's not far off. I thought that when we were talking earlier, I thought for sure you were gonna head downstairs.
Oh yeah. Again, at the end of the day, I've always loved Smash Bros. I'm always excited for the new one. I would just be happy if they implemented the HD graphics with it. So I mean, either way, it's a rock solid game. It's been in development for a long time.
Agreed.
I still enjoyed the hell out of it. So
yeah, it's been like 6 years since like the last Smash Brothers, right?
Yep.
So like this is something. again, I started to like it more and more as I played it, especially like when you're having people over, or like even like tonight there was 3 of us playing, and that was something that was a blast. I was like losing it because you know. It's awesome
because you were winning.
Well, you know. So yeah, for a scale of 1 to 10, I would be giving it a 9 out of 10. So thank you again for watching another variable review. Don't forget to like, share, comment, positive and negative comments at the bottom. We accept all.
All positive and negative.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the field.
Hey.